So another Olympics, another bout of hysteria and panic. My mother made sure there was bug repellent in my travel bag. Our producer brought mosquito netting with fear of Zika, and we haven't seen a bug in the first 3 days. We also haven't had any bodies wash up ashore, no limbs lying on the beach. But the air is dirty. Some of the water is polluted. And the International Olympic Committee admits Rio 2016 is one of the biggest challenges the IOC has ever faced. This is the snapshot for Tourism Brazil. Copacabana Beach, perhaps the most identifiable landmark in this entire country. Experts say areas of the water here are contaminated with raw sewage, dangerous viruses, and bacteria. And yet that doesn't discourage locals and tourists from being here. They'll play beach volleyball just steps away. Perhaps no event is under more scrutiny than open water swimming. Canada has 2 Olympians in it. Richard Weinberger won bronze in London. Stephanie Horner is competing in her 3rd Summer Games. Last August, they came here for a test event, and the wildest thing happened. None of them got sick.
We raced at Copacabana. We did the Olympic course. Our athletes didn't have any adverse effects after that, and in fact nobody did from any of the other nations, and I think even a triathlon event was conducted at Copacabana as well. That's with the independent water tests that have been done down here every month, and they've been good for the last year.
So maybe, just maybe, you can compete in Rio and still be okay. With precautions, of course.
Last year we had the athletes on a prophylactic medication coming in to protect them from anything that might have been in the water. We'll follow a similar sort of plan this year. We probably minimise the amount of time that we spend in there, partly to safeguard just in case.
Our media housing is at a place called Barra Village. It's brand new and offers no local flavor. Quaint spot. The warm water sometimes works, but this is life in South America. Best news of all, the mosquito netting remains in the bag.
Our situation, look, while the Mayor has admitted that our building was probably the worst, pretty much every one of the 31 buildings had issues.
You may have heard about Australia's athletes' quarters. How when they did a stress test a couple of weeks back, the building wasn't equipped. That was then.
It's funny because the village is actually the nicest that I think I've ever seen. We have a view of the water in the entire Olympic Park. We have great athlete lounges. It's been really surprisingly good.
The Olympic Games are the ultimate last-minute endeavor. A final coat of paint being applied before they light the flame. If it wasn't ready in July, it still could be all systems go by August.
We prepared for the worst, we absolutely did, and it's kind of been the best, so I think that's the best case scenario, and it's really allowed everyone to be really calm going into the games.
So the competition venues, for the most part, now are ready. When the sports start on Saturday, the games will take care of themselves. There are reportedly 82,000 security personnel here. In a nation riddled in crime, safety is top of mind. In London and Sochi, armed guards were everywhere. Here, there are some, but nowhere near totals of previous games. The lineups to get into Olympic Park are large, but not every games has Vladimir Putin throwing $50 billion around to make it look like they know what they're doing. The government here has been overthrown. The recession is bad, but locals have hope that these Olympics can inject cash into a nation in economic ruin, that their country will not be further crippled by the costs of hosting a Summer Games, and that the world will see their culture and song and food and drink and beauty beyond the dirty air and contaminated water. For the past 18 months, the world has discussed the issues with this country and what could possibly go wrong here. Friday, when they light the cauldron, at last that likely takes a back seat. When the Olympic Games finally begin, the first for Brazil, the first for South America. Arash Madani, Sportsnet, Rio.